You're listening to Catholic Chicago. Ahead, the Archdiocese of Chicago brings you programs about the people, events, and issues that touch our lives. Welcome to Catholic Chicago.
Welcome to Beyond the Headlines. My name's Joyce Duriga. I'm editor of the Chicago Catholic, and this is where we take a closer look to talk to the people who are making the news that we're covering in the Chicago Catholic each week. And today our guest is Sue Olafson. This is such a cool show we're doing today. So she's director of House of Hope Resale Shop, which is it's affiliated, it's part of St. Anne Barrington Parish, and all the proceeds that they raise through it's a volunteer-run resale shop. All the proceeds go back into the parish to support the outreach ministries that help those in need throughout the community. So welcome, Sue. Thanks so much for making some time today.
Thanks for having me, Joyce. I'm excited to be here.
Thank you. Would you tell us how it got started? It's such an interesting idea.
Sure. We are actually a ministry underneath St. Anne Parish, Catholic Parish here in Barrington. As that ministry, it's St. Anne Hope Ministries, and it has two different functions. One is to provide that outreach that you had referred to, as well as the House of Hope, which is the funding arm for everything that we do from an outreach perspective. So we, at the resale shop, we wind up being able to take in donations, move things through different departments. We have 16 different departments, but ultimately all of those proceeds after operations then is pumped into the community.
It's absolutely incredible. And we were talking about over this before we got started. How much do you raise?
So last year, we're just closing our books for our last fiscal year, which goes from June 30th to July 1st. We close our books. It's a $2 million operation, and $660,000 went into the community. And when I say that it goes into the community, it's for food, shelter, clothing, transportation, medical support, people in need that come to the St. Anne Parish community looking for that kind of outreach help. We're very proud to be able to offer 82 clients on a scheduled basis that come here on a monthly basis, but we also are able to provide about 130 additional clients some support out in the Carpentersville area as well. So in addition to being able to offer different community organizations that have a similar mission, which ultimately is to make sure that the disenfranchised, the poor, the needy, the elderly are supported with some of the things that they obviously need to be able to have the dignity in their lives.
Now, can you tell me, it's a big operation. We've got a lot of if you're watching on YouTube, you can see some photos that our photo editor, Karen Calloway, took when we were out there.
She did a great job.
Thank you. She was so excited. She's told like 10 people about it when in my hearing.
She was great.
Yeah.
She was great.
So it's huge now, but how did who came up with the idea? How did it grow?
Sure. So originally, about 37 years ago or so, there was a Catholic school principal by the name of Sister Lorraine Menier. And Sister Lorraine gave witness to so many people that were in need and really wanted to be able to have some way of being able to assist them. So she started a kind of an outreach ministry on the side of her being a principal here at St. Anne Catholic School. And they started with an outreach Annie's Attic kind of resale store, but it was just like on weekends or special events and the like. And it just grew. I think that there were so many volunteers that were so committed, and Sister Lorraine had such a way about her, about incorporating and in making sure that anybody who had a talent, she would find that talent and put it to work and great use. And Annie's Attic just kind of like grew and grew and grew until it was, a full-fledged store. We operated out of Barrington for quite some time. And then in about 2015 is when we ultimately moved to Lake Zurich, the store in Lake Zurich, and that's at 955 South Rand Road.
And just for reference, if anybody is listening or watching this, if you go to,
Sure.
It's HOH Resale, so houseofhoperesale.org, you can find out
Correct.
all about, and it's open
Yeah,
10 to 4.
they can find everything about us. I mean, in addition to the ministry, and it really does speak to what it is that we're trying to accomplish, again, in Sister Lorraine's memory. And I don't think anybody thought, or I'm sure she never thought in a million years that it would grow to this kind of level of success. But again, we couldn't be successful without the volunteer base. And a lot of them still remember Sister Lorraine, still remember what it was that she wanted to offer the community, and are so dedicated to ensuring the fact that is still upheld. From making sure that, that there's enough food, that there's enough housing or transportation or utility support for people that really do require it. I think that they are absolutely committed to what it is that she brought to the table.
How many volunteers do you have again?
We have over 200 at the store alone. We have
Wow.
another about 24 here at the Project Hope office. The Project Hope office is also where we house our food pantry. It's a small but mighty food pantry. We offer fish, fresh produce, breads, in addition to all of the canned goods and the box goods that you would normally expect to see. We have fresh eggs, we have lunch meats, we have all sorts of products that people would typically buy in a grocery store, and we have buyers that actually go out to the stores to purchase these kinds of items to ensure that the self-serve model that we use, that anybody can walk into this pantry and pretty much be able to help support themselves and their families for a week. Like many of the other food pantries, we allow a visit once a month, but we also provide other resources so that if there's somebody who really does need more food support, that there's a whole connection of other food pantries that they wouldn't have to ever shop for any groceries, if they knew the resources that lined up per month. So we're pretty proud of it. We provide gift certificates to all of our families. We vet them. Again, the volunteer base that works at the House of Hope, expects the office to be able to kind of, make sure that, everybody is being served even-handedly as well as fairly. So
Sure.
if somebody, stumbles into the office looking for assistance, we're able to give them the support that they need, but really kind of vetting them through the process to make sure that it's legitimate.
Yeah, tell people about the store. I mean, this isn't just a little
Sure.
like hole in
No,
the
it
wall
is not.
Yeah, it's nice
We
stuff.
have about 36,000 square feet. With the furniture store, we have an annex with the furniture as part of what it is that we sell. Donations come in. We do free pickups for furniture. We do not offer free pickup for like clothing and housewares. People typically just drop those off. We have a drop-off service on Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays, but you can drop off your merchandise at any point. We will take it and sort through it and make sure that if we're able to push it forward, we push it out there, and people buy it. And that operation requires 200 volunteers to be able to kind of make sure that we are putting it, that we're able to sell to an assortment of different kinds of customers. I mean, everybody from resellers to people that are just looking for, the vintage or the antique. We have, again, housewares, clothing, a baby
Toys,
department.
yeah.
We have stationery, and we have 16 different departments that if you're donating it, we're going to figure out some way of being able to sell it.
It's just incredible. I was blown away by, I'm glad you reached out to us, and I was blown away when I saw the photos. I was unable to come out that day, but so Michelle Martin did the story, but
she did a great job too.
She did very much.
Sorry to have missed you though.
I want to go out there. I mean, there's China, and you have a retired librarian who sorts the books.
Absolutely. Donna Trenda is wonderful. She really does have a good eye for, the books and the book department. She really kind of does a phenomenal job. But the China, interestingly enough, the millennials don't want China. So,
okay.
But it sells nonetheless. And we have some beautiful China sets. We have some beautiful crystal, beautiful silverware, and, all sorts of items that, oftentimes the millennials that are cleaning out their parents' homes just don't want.
Oh, yeah.
And, again, what they say is somebody's junk is another person's treasure. And I can't tell you how much treasure we wind up being able to really kind of use and sell. And again, we couldn't have done it without the 200 volunteers and the behind the scenes, as well as the people in front of the store that are making sure that merchandise is staged and priced.
It's incredible. And I think it helps that you're in an area that's, it seems like when you go to like TJ Maxx or Marshalls that are in more affluent areas, you get nicer products, So you guys have a lot of, so anybody who's listening, if you're looking for nice stuff, head up to Barrington or Lake Zurich. The store is in Lake Zurich.
Well, we pride ourselves on being an upscale resale shop. That's really kind of our brand. So that we are looking for, a notch higher than something that you might find at a Goodwill. That's really our goal. That's what we try to do. Things that come in that, don't quite make that mark or miss the mark for us, we do push it forward. I mean, we'll give it to Helping Hands, or we'll find another organization that can use it. In a couple of instances, we just, as a matter of fact, we were collecting items for migrant workers, and just because of some situations beyond our control, we wound up having a lot of that, the jeans and the shirts and the bandanas and sunglasses and hats. We reached out to Catholic Charities, who's looking for that kind of merchandise, not to sell, but to give away to a lot of the migrants that are that they're seeing right now. So, we really do look for other partnering opportunities with other like-kind organizations.
That's kind of funny because we just take a break here in a second. But
Sure.
One of the groups that, two of the groups that we were doing, Karen and I were working on a story about parishes helping resettle migrant families, and that was two of the groups she actually told about. She's like, you got to go up to Barrington. They have all this really nice stuff. So it's that.
Were you talking to Rosemary?
We were talking to somebody at Old St. Pat's and talking to
sure,
folks at St. Ascension, St. Edmund, St. Giles, St. Lucy, St. Catherine of Siena in Oak Park. So, yeah, there's two parishes, lots of names. All right, we're going to take a quick break, then we'll come back and keep talking. Don't go away, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks.
Catholic Charities After Supper Visions program offers guests of our Tuesday night supper the opportunity to learn the art of photography. These talented guests, who are often experiencing homelessness, are offered disposable cameras, and they work with volunteer professional photographers to learn the basics of taking photos. Then, the artists go out and capture images on film of anything they find to be beautiful or interesting in the world. Meet the artists and see their extraordinary photos at this year's After Supper Visions photo exhibition on Friday, September 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. in Vincent Hall at 721 North LaSalle Street. That's Friday, September 22nd from 5 to 7 p.m. Visit After Supper Visions for more information. At After Supper Visions, we are developing film, talent, and hope.
People always say, how can you spend your day with 3-year-olds? Seeing the changes that they go through and just the journey and how they grow, this is a very rewarding job. Even though at the end of the day, we're not the highest paid people on earth. And when I have a parent contact me and say, my child loves school, that to me, I'm setting that foundation for their love of learning. Because really, you are changing lives, you are molding lives.
Shape the next generation of leaders. Teach. Apply today at archchicago.org/schooljobs.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. I'm Joyce Duriga from Chicago Catholic, and as I said at the opening, this is where we talk to the people who are making the headlines in the Chicago Catholic. Before we go back to Sue, I want to plug the newspaper. You can find us at chicagocatholic.com. Subscriptions are $30. We come out about every 2 weeks, and you can sign up for a free newsletter that I send out about 3 times a week based on that website. You can follow us on social media, and the $30 does support our ministry for telling the good news in the Archdiocese. And some of the stuff we're working on now, we're pre-recording this show, but we're going to press on the September 3rd issue. So we have a couple of stories about the Parliament of the World Religions that was taking place down at McCormick Place, where they had over 6,000 people of different faiths and talking about all aspects of faith and dialogue. Cardinal Supich is writing about the Synod. He'll be going to the Synod in October. We always cover something from the Pope. We recently had the Mass with the Asian Catholic community. There's like 15 different Asian Catholic communities in Chicago, so they get together. They try to once a year with Cardinal Supich for a Mass. Karen Calloway, our fellow editor, has some cute photos. So, check us out at chicagocatholic.com. And again, our guest today is Sue Olafson. She's director of House of Hope Ministries and Resale Shop at St. Anne in Barrington. They have this really cool resale shop where it helps support the outreach ministries to, as she's mentioned this year, to a tune of over $600,000, which I'm sure any parish is super jealous about. But speaking of that,
it's a great model, actually.
Yeah.
And again, the only reason why it works is because it's a volunteer-based model.
What if there's anybody listening that belongs to a parish? Do you have any advice on how they could start this up on a small scale?
On a smaller scale, I mean, again, how it was originally started was just as a garage sale kind of idea that ultimately grew. I know that there's a lot of parishes that just kind of pass the basket or have the pass the basket kind of idea to help with some of the outreach ministry that their parishes all experience. But if they are looking for, an idea on how to, take it to the next level, much like how it was started, just a simple garage sale that, kind of went into quarterly, then weekly, then daily sort of opportunity, and again, making sure that people really kind of buy into the mission. I think that, when we're talking about people giving their volunteer time, giving their money, giving donations, I think really the mission has got to resonate. And if that mission resonates with people in a community, they're going to be looking to help provide those kinds of donations to your parish or to your ministry. And so, knowing that we're trying to help people with care and compassion, and really fulfilling the idea of Jesus's call for the helping the poor and elderly and the disenfranchised, I think is really something that certainly the people of St. Anne has really resonates with the people of St. Anne. And I think that it goes beyond just the parish, it goes into the community. And I think when the community really supports, in addition to the parish, I think that the success is just really written on the walls. It's you're ready for it.
Well, I think there's an element of evangelization, like through the work, because the volunteers are able to help and give back, but then they're in that with that spirit that you're talking about. So when people are coming in to shop, they're passing on that spirit, and then if they find out, oh, hey, this is a Catholic church that's doing this, and then it supports this, and then you're also, doing that evangelization outreach through the social justice outreach. So I think there's always a good, lots of bonuses with these kinds of
I have a
ideas.
volunteer that loves to say that there's a ministry within the ministry. What happens a lot of times is, especially with the volunteers, is that this is their social connection. They really kind of find their soul in being able to know that they're helping somebody, no matter how many tears removed it might be. Just knowing what that mission is and knowing that they're helping support that, while also getting a socialized, a socialization component from it, I think it really kind of matters to people. And, this ministerial spirit is a really important one for people who are looking for, more purpose-driven lives. And so it really does help a lot in terms of just, having everybody understand what that mission is and working together to accomplish it.
That's amazing. So how'd you get involved?
Oh, well, I had a volunteer who actually asked me. I was working in another not-for-profit. I had retired from government. I was in communications and marketing for years, and then retired, went into nonprofit work, and somebody who was really connected here, they were looking for a director, and I applied, and I kind of worked through the process, and boy, did they vet me.
Really? And how long have you been there?
5 years. Yeah, it's 5 years this year. So yeah, it's been a remarkable experience, truly. I think that you start to see, and everybody says, oh, it's a great calling, but I could not take any credit because I'm a paid employee. I'm one of 5 people who are paid to do this job, but the volunteers, without them and that kind of commitment and that kind of dedication, this would not be successful. I might be the face, but they are the soul. Yeah. And they're so critical and so important to what it is that we do. And again, they bring this ministerial spirit to this mission and this ministry that, I don't think that there's anything that I can say or do that really demonstrates the true appreciation I have for them.
Yeah, it's pretty
and admiration for them, because, again, they're doing this out of the goodness of their hearts and the desire to really make a difference in the world. And, sometimes we can only make a difference in the world in our own little corner. And if everybody just kind of did that, took their own little corner and tried to make that difference, I think that the world would be a very, very different place today.
Amen. And I keep thinking I'm working, getting ready to do some stories about the Day of Renewal for Renew My Church. It's coming up in September.
Yes.
And I keep thinking how this is a great example of how, we're focusing on building the new reality and how we're about thinking creatively, and then having a ministry that, we mentioned that just the ripple effect just is
right.
And same thing like St. Catherine St. Lucy in Oak Park. They got the permission from downtown to turn an old rectory that wasn't being used since the parishes had merged into a shelter. There's a local organization that approached them about turning it into a shelter. So now, it's a shelter that operates overnight. Everyone has to leave, and but I mean, to me, that's another great ministry that came out of
right.
in my church.
It's awesome. That's great. I do know that I was part of the Renew My Church team that was here at St. Anne. And a lot of the conversation was, how do you get, people to know about, the parish, and how do we get people back in the pews? How do we get people back, really kind of into the Catholic community again? And it's become real clear that people want purpose.
Amen.
And, it might go beyond, a good sermon. It goes beyond, just what it is that, the sacraments. It goes beyond all of that. People really want to feel as though that they're making this difference. And in this particular ministry, people make the difference every day.
Absolutely. Are you a parishioner at St. Anne?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Were you a parishioner before? Like someone
I was
tapped
not.
you? Because
I was not. I was grandfathered into a parish in Elk Grove.
Okay.
They also went through the Renew My Church process. That church was combined with another, a new parish priest came in, and there was some changes and differences, and I was working here at the time, and it just seemed as though that it was a good transition at the time.
Yeah, and I think it helps. Parishioners can see you, and and all that kind of stuff. I didn't mean to go down that road. I was just curious because I kept saying you're a parishioner, but I didn't really ask. So, but
well, actually, again, I actually live outside of the boundaries of the Archdiocese of Chicago. I'm actually part of the Archdiocese of Rockford.
Well, I'm glad you're sticking on our side.
Yeah, well, you're right. I mean, it's just like I like the Archdiocese of Chicago.
Good.
So I understand it.
Good. So okay, we're wrapping up things. We're out of time. I'm getting the fingers from the producers. So again, folks who are listening or watching this on YouTube, go to hohresale.org, houseofhoperesale.org, to check out all the great things they're doing, to get the address. They're open from 10 to 4, Wednesday through Saturday. If you have any real cool high-end donations, reach out to them too. Or if you just enjoy going, like me, to go to resale shops to see what you can find, check them out. And Sue, thank you so much for everything you're doing and for reaching out to us initially to do a story. I was not aware of this ministry, so I was like, this is incredible. So keep up the good work.
It's a great story. Well, I'd be delighted to follow up with you again during the year.
We will. Okay, we'll do. Thanks, Sue.
Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
Take care.
You too. Everyone
Bye-bye.
else listening.
Thanks for all you do.
Thank you so much. And everyone
Bye-bye.
listening, thanks for joining us today, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.